Inside the Magic, show number 318 for May 8th, 2011. It is Sunday, May 8th, 2011. This is show 318 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I'm your host, Ricky Briganti. Got another great show packed with Disney and theme park news and a whole lot more fun. And before we get started, I do invite you to visit InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and so much more. And if you ever have any news, tips, or questions, you can write to me at ricky@InsideTheMagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Let Magical Travel help you plan a memorable vacation to Disneyland, California. Save up to 25% when you stay at a Disneyland Resort Hotel. Summer is fast approaching, so plan your summer vacation today by calling Magical Travel at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote, and be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive a free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And by listeners like you, thanks very much to Jason Jason Eskew, for your donation this week, and to all of our monthly donation subscribers. I actually had a couple of people recently let me know that they couldn't find the PayPal donations on our website, so I made it a little bit more obvious. So if you head to InsideTheMagic.net, you should be able to see those PayPal links very, very easily, and we, of course, appreciate your support. And now, let's start off the show with our trip around the world. So we are live once again on YouTube. Thanks very much to everybody who has tuned in already, and I'm sure we'll pick up watchers, viewers, as the show goes on. We're going to try to do this every week as much as possible. So anyone listening out there, if you haven't had a chance to tune in yet, it seems like the show time is right around 2 p.m. on Sundays, if at all possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen every week. I'm not saying it's always going to be at that time, but 2 p.m. Eastern on Sundays is roughly when I'm going to try to do this live YouTube stream when it is possible. Sometimes I do record the show Saturday night or late Sunday night or at off times, and those times I probably won't go live, but as I said, as much as possible, as we are doing right now, YouTube Live, and you can join in the live chat there and watch the video of it recording, and if you miss it, then you can always come back to the YouTube channel later at youtube.com/InsideTheMagic or just at InsideTheMagic.net and catch a replay of the entire video. And of course, today is a very special day. It is Mother's Day, and so happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, and especially my mom as well. Happy Mother's Day to you. I don't know if you're watching out there, but whether you are or not, or maybe just listening later, happy Mother's Day. And let's see, what else is going on this week? Goofy's Mystery Tour happened a couple of nights ago. This is before we get into the Disney news, really. Goofy's Mystery Tour is an annual event for cast members over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's kind of a after-hours scavenger hunt, puzzle, trivia sort of game, and I joined a couple of cast members on a team, and we ended up getting 23rd place out of around 250 teams, so pretty cool there. Was a lot of fun to take part in that cast member event. And, it's something I did once before. I don't think I did as well the previous time that I did it, but it sounds like I'm getting better with each attempt. So, maybe next year we'll do even better and be able to win. But just a little bit of fun there. Also, some more, housekeeping, if you want to call it that. I got some good news this week that coming up in July, I am going to be attending the San Diego Comic-Con for the very first time. I'm going to be covering it for Inside the Magic, the first time that we will have been there. It's, of course, a huge event in California. It's been going on for years and years and years, and it's something I've been wanting to go to for a very long time. Never really, had the opportunity, so now we'll definitely be bringing you any Disney coverage from any of the panels that are going to happen there. Hopefully we'll get some more updates on the Haunted Mansion movie that Guillermo del Toro is working on that they sort of announced last year at the Comic-Con. Maybe we'll get something for Tron 3. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but you can definitely tune in to InsideTheMagic.net to see more, or to see first time really ever for us at the San Diego Comic-Con. Should be a whole lot of fun. In addition, next month, actually less than a month from now, I received my invitation this week to go out to California for the opening of the Little Mermaid ride out at Disneyland. Also on that day will be the official opening of Star Tours in California, though it's not going to quite work out that way. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this week's show. Also, then will be Disneyland Hotel will be premiering its new pool area with the monorail water slides and all of that. And so it should be a lot of fun. That'll definitely keep coming back for all the coverage of the Little Mermaid and everything else going on in early June. But of course, you're listening to Pirates of the Caribbean movie music here in the background now, and that's because yesterday was a big day. It was the giant premiere at Disneyland of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Of course, the fourth movie in the Pirates series. Big new movie, and it had an equally big premiere as it has for the last few movies. Certainly a whole lot of fun there. They set up, Disney set up something like 20,000 bleacher seats along Main Street, USA, where they ran a big black carpet down where all the celebrities would arrive. And other than a light drizzle, the event went very great. And we're actually going to have a first-hand report from one of the lucky folks who paid $1,000 to attend that event later in this week's show. So you can hear much more about what the Pirates premiere was like last night. And actually, we have much more pirate news here. I want to stick with that here for a moment. The biggest news, I think, is that one of the new characters from Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is making his way into the actual Pirates of the Caribbean attractions, much like the way that Johnny Depp was added in animatronic form, and of course Davy Jones was added in projection form in the waterfalls. Well, now Captain Barbossa... I'm sorry, not Barbossa, Blackbeard, getting my pirates mixed up here. Blackbeard is being added on May 20th when the film hits theaters to the Pirates of the Caribbean attractions in Disneyland as well as out here at Walt Disney World. It's Ian McShane reprising his role as Captain Blackbeard from the new movie, replacing Davy Jones in that beginning waterfall. And it actually premiered last night at the premiere of the movie in California. However, it's from what I was told, and you'll hear this a little bit later, I guess it's going to go away, and then it's going to come back on May 20th, and of course out here in Florida as well. Now, somebody did manage to record, of course, at the premiere last night, video of what Blackbeard looks and sounds like in the Pirates attraction. So I want to go over to this video, which was posted on TwitVid by Jake W. This is not my video exactly, but I do want to play it for you here. Let's just ready. Here's the audio of Blackbeard in Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, he'll come back.
Tales there be aplenty in this cursed place.
So just a really brief appearance by Blackbeard in the attraction, just like Davy Jones was, and apparently it's going to go away. Blackbeard will be replaced once again by Davy Jones before the end of the year, so you'll have a limited amount of time to catch that when you have a chance, when you come out either here to Florida or to California. And of course, we're talking about the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie here, but there's already plenty of talks for a fifth Pirates of the Caribbean film. Screenwriter Terry Rossio has already turned in a script, apparently, to Disney for a fifth installment in the Pirates series. However, Johnny Depp, who stars, of course, as Captain Jack Sparrow, was quoted as saying, we should hold off for a bit. They should be special, just like they are special to me. So it sounds like he does want to do a fifth Pirates film, which he has indicated on a number of times, but he doesn't necessarily want to do it right away. You know, maybe hold off just a little bit and give everybody a chance to kind of enjoy the current version or the current film of Pirates before moving on to the next one. And even still more Pirates fun. Actually, I have a contest going on right now to win a copy of Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game for Xbox 360. The game comes out on May 10th, just a couple of days from now, and I actually received 2 copies of the game from Disney Interactive Studios, one for me to play and review, and one to give away. Now, I have been playing it, however, I cannot tell you my thoughts on this game until May 20th. They have asked that I do not reveal my opinions on the video game until it officially is released. So I'll be posting a review over at InsideTheMagic.net on May 10th, just a couple of days from now, of the video game. But as if you've played any other Lego games, you can imagine that it probably is fun. And I am giving away, as I said, a copy of Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. So head over to InsideTheMagic.net, or you can check this week's show notes there, and you'll find all the details for the contest. It's been running for a couple of days now. I'm giving you 2 different chances to enter each day for a possible total of 10 entries into the contest. If you're hearing this now for the first time, you're a little bit late on that, but that doesn't mean you can't win. This is the 4th of 5 days of the contest, so hurry. Head over to the website to find out all the details. All right, that is it for Pirates of the Caribbean at the moment, but we will have a report from the Pirates premiere later in this week's show. But for now, we're actually going to shift gears over to Epcot, where last week we had played audio of the British Invasion's last performance at Epcot in the UK Pavilion. Well, just a couple of days after that, the new band called English Channel debuted at Epcot. They are a very different group than what the British Invasion was. English Channel, who's actually known as British Airwaves outside of Disney and outside of Epcot. Disney changed their name, as they often do for contracted groups. This new group plays sort of a greatest hits of British artists, including Led Zeppelin and The Who and Dave Clark 5, but they also play the Beatles as well. And I was there on their first day to record one of their very first sets, and I will include that on this week's show at the very tail end, just like I did last week for the British Invasion. So if you want to hear what the new band is like, stay tuned to the very end of this show, or I have posted a full video as well over at InsideTheMagic.net to where you can see them perform. I actually enjoyed them. There have been mixed opinions, many mixed opinions about them, but I enjoyed their performance very much. Coming up this weekend, this coming weekend is just a busy weekend everywhere all over Walt Disney World. So many different things happening between Destination D and the Great Disney Scavenger Hunt and Pixar Weekend over at Epcot, and also Car Masters Weekend is at Walt Disney World from May 13th through 15th at Downtown Disney. I found out a little bit more information about what that is going to entail. There's no extra cost to enjoy the festivities there. It's from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. In it, they will feature the largest life-size radio-controlled replica cars ever built, and apparently those are Lightning McQueen and Mater and Finn McMissile. In addition, Pixar Animation Studios Cars franchise guardian Jay Ward is going to be there talking with fans, and Richard Petty's race car will be there as well. Now, other than Pirates, the biggest news that is ongoing at the moment, of course, is the subject of Star Tours, and it is rapidly approaching the opening of that. In fact, some cast members have already ridden it out in California, and so there are many possible early opening festivities going on. I seem to use that word a lot, but it's the best word I can find. Before I talk about those, I want to mention that last week I had said that there was a possibility of Star Tours lanyards being given away, and that has now been confirmed by the Mickey Monitor. June 3rd through 5th at Star Wars Weekends out here in Florida. Pass holders, annual pass holders to Walt Disney World, can show up at Hollywood Studios and show their pass and their photo ID, and you'll get, while supplies last, a Star Tours lanyard for free. That'll be in the Star Wars Weekends merchandise area, which this year is a big new tent that they're setting up near the Rock and Roller Coaster. Now, as I said, there are opportunities coming up for fans to ride Star Tours before its official opening. One of them is already full. This is this week the Disney Parks blog put up a sign-up meet-up opportunity for midnight, actually, the night before Star Tours opens at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is a couple of weeks away. This midnight meet-up will last till 2 a.m. and will also include a special presentation by Imagineers as well as other surprises that Disney hasn't revealed, of course, because, well, they're surprises. This event filled to capacity in an hour or less. It was basically free-for-all. Whoever was the first to email would have a chance to get in. It was, I guess, 500 people total, 250 signups, and each person can bring a guest. And fortunately, I did get in, and so I'm excited about going to that. It's, as I said, the night before it opens, May 20th, so it's midnight of May 20th, if you want to call it, kind of the night between the 19th and the 20th. There's also a media preview of Star Tours that night, just a few hours before the media meet-up but I really think the real fun is going to be had at this meetup, because that's for the fans, not for the media. And of course, it'll be fans excited to finally ride Star Tours. Now, the following morning, the grand opening for Star Tours, The Adventures Continue, the new 3D version of the attraction, is going to be on May 20th, and apparently there's going to be a dedication ceremony for the new version of the attraction at 10:15 in the morning. Now, there are reports that George Lucas, creator of Star Wars, will be there. That has not been confirmed by Disney, but the reports seem to strongly indicate that he will be there. Other reports of various actors being there are not confirmed yet. Of course, Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, is definitely going to be there because he's one of the guests for Star Wars Weekends that weekend. So, regardless, I will definitely be up at the meetup, and I'll bring back a full report from that. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, for those of you in California, Disneyland has also offered a preview opportunity for Star Tours, and this one is still going on. You can still sign up for this, though it's a bit different how they're going to work this one. Now, Disneyland's version of Star Tours is actually opening officially on June 3rd. However, it seems like Disney didn't want West Coasters to be left out when it comes to the attraction opening out here in Florida on May 20th. So on that same very day, May 20th, Disneyland is inviting 1,200 people, each plus one guest, so 2,400 people total, to head out to Disneyland and ride Star Tours that day, the same day it opens out here in Florida. However, this is more of a contest. They posted it also over at the Disney Parks blog, and it's actually running now, actually a couple of days ago, through tomorrow morning, Monday, May 9th at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. Sorry. So all the way through today and tomorrow, you can still sign up, and then they're going to choose randomly from everybody who signs up 1,200 people to be accepted, and each of which can bring a guest. So if you're interested in riding Star Tours early out in California, that is going to be your best bet to do so. Continuing on with Star Tours now out here in Florida and in California, Disney this week unveiled a new piece of artwork that is acting as the new Star Tours poster image. It's a huge image up on the Star Tours building out here in Florida. It's also an attraction poster out at Disneyland. It's a new artwork that's very colorful, shows the Star Speeder 1000 and plenty of other planets and ships, and even a lurking Darth Vader in the background. A really exciting image that looks great for the reopening of Star Tours as the Star Tours The Adventures Continue. Very exciting. Also in California, in continuing with Star Tours news, lots of that right about now as the attraction is coming closer. Star Trader opened up, the store that's attached to Star Tours in California. It's a kind of a redesigned store. Plenty of Star Tours and Star Wars merchandise, and that old X-Wing that was hanging from the ceiling has returned as well. Back out here to Florida. Sorry to keep jumping back and forth, but in Florida, 3D glasses were spotted being wheeled around the Star Tours area, and these are the glasses that are going to be used for the Star Tours attraction, and it looks like they're not going to be the same glasses that everybody's used to in a Disney 3D movie environment, kind of those flat, not terribly comfortable glasses. Well, apparently for Star Tours 3D, they're going to be much more comfortable glasses. Since you're going to be in a motion simulator, they really have to stay on your face. They're more sunglasses style, and somebody even said they were Dolby Digital 3D glasses. I'm not 100% sure about that, but they do look a lot more comfortable than the usual Disney 3D glasses. And the Star Wars saga, the 6 films of Star Wars, are going to be coming out on Blu-ray pretty soon. And on May the 4th, just a few days ago, all the details about the Blu-ray release was announced. And unfortunately, the original Star Tours film is not going to be on the Blu-ray. Nobody ever really indicated that it would be, but I was kind of hoping that since Star Tours, the original version, was going away, at least in the United States, that they would include the original Star Tours film on there, but no luck. Continuing on more Star Tours, in the latest issue of D23 magazine, there is an article all about Star Wars and Star Tours, and it reveals a few additional details about Star Tours The Adventures Continue, and it says that the ride is going to be 4.5 minutes long, so that gives you an idea of how much you're going to be able to have fun zipping around the Star Wars galaxies in 3D. Also, the new Star Tours, one of many scenes that will be included in there, will be a trip inside the Death Star, apparently, and somewhere along the line, you will see Jar Jar Binks, whether you want to or not. But apparently he's going to have a very minor role off to the side. But, if you're looking for him, then you will see him. All right, one more bit of Star Wars news this week is Ashley Eckstein is one of the hosts of this year's Star Wars Weekends out here in Florida, and she's also the voice of Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Well, she has a clothing line called Her Universe, which they describe as geek chic apparel. That's a female-focused line, basically making girls proud to be fans of sci-fi and that sort of thing. They actually have apparel for Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and Ghost Hunters and more. Well, she's going to be, of course, there at Star Wars Weekends, and they'll be debuting some new shirts and the like at Star Wars Weekends. So if you're a fan of her apparel, you can, of course, see her and also pick up some of her latest creations there at Disney's Hollywood Studios. All right, let's turn away from Star Tours and Star Wars, and in fact, let's turn away from Disney completely here for a second to talk about Universal Orlando, where we previously mentioned that on May 19th, the day before Star Tours opens out here in Florida and previews in California, Universal is going to be making a major attraction announcement that morning of May 19th. And of course, everyone was thinking, well, they already said Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast is going to be closing, that they probably announced the replacement for that, and they have confirmed that they are indeed going to announce that replacement. But in addition, Universal has now also said that they will reveal, quote, details about a major high-tech enhancement to one of Universal Orlando's single most popular attractions, end quote. And of course, there's plenty of speculation as to what exactly that's going to mean. Universal's been dropping hints on their Facebook and Twitter about what the new attractions and upgrades and all of that could possibly be. The hints are very vague, so we'll just have to wait and see if it's, some people still think it's King Kong related. A lot of people think it's Despicable Me or just DreamWorks in general related, and some people even think that it could be Transformers related, since Universal is coming out with a Transformers attraction in California and overseas. It'd be great to see that come out here as well. That ride in California will be using the same basic sort of setup and attraction mechanisms as the Spider-Man ride out here in Florida at Islands of Adventure, so it's conceivable that they would replace Spider-Man with a Transformers attraction, especially given that Disney now owns Marvel, but we'll just have to wait and see on May 19th as to what that announcement will be. Universal also announced their 2011 summer concert series this week. It's June 11th, The Go-Go's, June 18th, Nelly, June 25th, Third Eye Blind, June 2nd, Trey Songz, July 9th, Boys Like Girls, and July 16th is Drake. And let's jump back to Disney now, where coming up on May 16th, just over a week from now, is going to be the grand opening of the new dine-in theater at Downtown Disney, the AMC Theater. It's already in previews for cast members, and just not too long from now, you'll be able to head out to the AMC out here in Florida, Downtown Disney, and eat while you enjoy a movie. Let's jump to California now, where Disney released many new details about some restaurants that are coming to the Disneyland Resort. Very, very exciting, and they sound extremely tasty as well. At Disneyland Hotel, there's going to be the Tangaroa Terrace and Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, and both are going to be opening on May 25th. At the Tangaroa Terrace is going to be casual island dining, as they're putting it, complete with tiki torches, island music, and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For breakfast, there will be, for example, French toast with bacon and warm banana caramel sauce, as well as grilled cinnamon spice oatmeal with island fruit. Then moving on to lunch and dinner, you could get a 3rd-pound Angus Hawaiian cheeseburger with teriyaki sauce, bacon, grilled pineapple, Havarti tomato, and the lettuce. What else do we have? An Asian chicken salad with lots of greens, lettuce, cabbage, carrots, sweet peppers, and cucumbers with chicken breast, cashews, and rice noodles in a sesame vinaigrette. Or you get Kahlua pork flatbread topped with pulled pork, barbecue sauce, red onion, and fresh cilantro. Sounds really excellent. They're also going to have a varying menu option, the Island Plate Dinner, which will feature a variety of salmon, pork, panko-crusted chicken, jasmine rice, beans, green papaya slaw, lots of really tasty stuff. There'll also be a grab-and-go option as well. Then over at Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, this place is definitely going to become very popular, especially with the Adventurers Club type crowd, or Jungle Cruiser Adventureland. It's got that same feeling to it, and Disney's calling it substantial bar food. And in there you'll find sweet and spicy Asian wings, chicken lettuce wrap, panko-crusted Chinese long beans with sriracha mayo, tamarind tamarind glazed pork shanks with green papaya slaw and ahi, sushi-grade tuna with avocado, green onion, and crispy wontons. In addition, there will be plenty of drinks served at this enchanted tiki bar, served in kitschy glassware, as Disney said. There will be the Krakatoa Punch, served with reserve aged rum, light rum, tropical juices, almond syrup, and hibiscus grenadine. The Oa with light rum, spiced rum, guava, orange, passion fruit, grapefruit, lime juice, fresh lime juice, and cinnamon. And then the Hippopotami Tai with 2 shots of light and dark rums, orange curacao, almond syrup, organic agave nectar, and fresh lime juice. And then there's even a non-alcoholic beverage called Schweitzer Falls, and that's a refreshing blend, as Disney calls it, of pineapple, guava, orange, and passion fruit juices with allspice syrup and a splash of Sprite. Certainly plenty to enjoy there for everybody. And if you look at the concept art that they released for this Trader Sam's, you could even see a familiar piece of the Adventurers Club in there, the old ship in a bottle. So it seems like the West Coasters who are Adventurers Club fans are really going to enjoy this new place to eat and drink. Actually, a couple of places to eat and drink out at the Disneyland Hotel when it opens on May 25th. But if that didn't make you hungry and thirsty enough, there was more food news coming out of Disneyland this week, and this time it's over at Paradise Pier in Disney California Adventure, where actually on July 1st is when Goofy's Sky School is now going to open. They've bumped that back. It was going to open on June 3rd. Now it's going to be July 1st because that's when Disney is now officially saying Paradise Pier transformation into the new version of Paradise Pier will be complete. As part of that, there will be the dining locations either opening or reopening, the Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, Paradise Garden Grill, and the Corn Dog Castle will be returning once more. So anybody who was a fan of that, like I was, should be excited. But the new places, Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, will certainly have plenty of tasty food to choose from. Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta, well, you can probably guess what they're going to be serving there. It's going to be pizza and pasta, and it looks and sounds very good. It's going to be flatbreads, pastas and freshly tossed salads, and spaghetti and meatballs, pasta with chicken and a sun-dried tomato cream sauce, 5-cheese ravioli with pesto and toasted pine nuts. Good stuff there. Over at Paradise Garden Grill, Mediterranean spin is what they're putting on skewers and kebabs there. So lots of good new eating opportunities at California Adventure coming soon. Almost done with the news here. Lots of news this week. Let's move to television, actually, but this is still theme park related. America's Funniest Videos will be having its season finale Sunday, May 22nd, not too far from now at 7 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. And scenes from this season finale were shot aboard the Disney Dream cruise ship as well as at Disney California Adventure. So if you want to see the theme parks on TV, whether or not you're a fan of America's Funniest Videos, that's going to be the time to do it. And this probably isn't the best bit of news to end this segment on, but I'm going to go ahead and include it here anyway because it is news. And the film that almost nobody saw in theaters, Mars Needs Moms, is going to be coming on home release DVD, Blu-ray 3D on August 9th. So if you were one of the few people that actually saw that in the theater and you liked it, or if you're interested in seeing it at all, August is the time that you're going to be doing that. And that is it for your news from around the world this week. Here's a really fun tip from Brent, who writes, I have a tip for today that I thought I would share. If you long to experience your favorite attraction in the way that you did when you were a kid, like Walter Cronkite narrating Spaceship Earth, or the Old Mexico boat ride, or pretty much any other moving attraction that has changed the show audio, you can still relive that with a set of headphones by playing an old recording of the show. A lot of the shows are available online as MP3 downloads, or maybe as a YouTube video that you can play right on your smartphone, and the best best to use in this case are true on-ride audio recordings. While not necessarily the highest audio quality, the timing will be better when being on a moving attraction. It's a lot of fun to see the same attraction, how the same attraction can have a completely different meaning with the old audio. I have done it now with Jeremy Irons and Walter Cronkite on Spaceship Earth, and it certainly stirs the memories. Brent, that is a really fun tip. I definitely miss the Jeremy Irons version of Spaceship Earth, and as long as the attraction doesn't stop when you're along the way, it should be running at pretty much the same speed as it was when the Jeremy Irons narration was there, so you should be able to hit play at just the right moment on your phone, listen on headphones, of course, don't use a speaker, and enjoy the old audio as you're seeing the new updated version with the better animatronics. Sounds like a great tip. Everyone else out there, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording there for just a second. Everybody watching on live YouTube, just hang on for a moment. I need a drink of water. All right, we will resume in just a moment. Okay, back to the show. And before we get to a couple of fun features this week, I do want to put in a quick word about Lanyard Lab. If you're looking for a great way to promote your business, or maybe you just need to wear name tags or ID cards around your neck at a convention or a school or really any organization, check us out over at lanyardlab.com. Once you go there, you can submit to us all your ideas for your design. We could put your logo or text or any colors that you'd like on a custom lanyard, and we'll send you back a complete price quote along with a proof showing you what the design will look like. Then you can place your order online. It's very easy to do, quick, fast, and of course no obligation, completely free to preview. So check it out, lanyardlab.com. That's LANYARDLAB.com. All right, we will prepare here for a second, or I will prepare here for a second for our next segment. While I try to record this show as much in real time as possible, sometimes it takes a little bit of extra preparation, especially doing this live stream, getting photos ready and all of that. Need a little extra few moments sometimes between these segments before moving on. Okay, and here we go. So now I want to talk more about Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I have not seen the film yet. Of course, it just premiered at Disneyland in a very big way last night. It doesn't hit theaters everywhere until May 20th, but lucky few people who paid a pretty penny to attend the premiere last night. Actually, it was $1,000 per ticket to attend that premiere. Did have a chance to do so, and one of the Inside the Magic listeners, actually a couple of listeners, and, well, probably many listeners, but I talked to one listener in particular who actually attended that premiere last night, and I want to bring him on the phone right now. On this week's show is Tony Crane, who attended the fabulous Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides premiere last night at Disneyland. Now, Tony, tell me you had an amazing time last night.
It was a great time. It was nice to see the movie a couple weeks early, but even better was just the celebrity and the event that surrounded the movie.
So take me to the beginning of it. Obviously, you paid a considerable amount of money to be there for this ticket. What was the experience like just arriving there after, showing up? What time did you get there? How did you check in?
Well, we actually attended the last premiere also.
Oh, okay.
So the day that we heard that On Stranger Tides was going to be made, the first thing that we said to each other was, I wonder if we'll be able to go to the premiere again.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, we just waited and waited and waited. I took a stab at when the premiere date might actually be, and went ahead and bought airline tickets and everything. And then sure enough, we were able to buy tickets. So we came into this one sort of knowing what was going on. We came out for a few days to spend at the parks, and then we arrived at about 5:30 or so. Check-in started at 6 o'clock. We went to a tent that had labels for where to go based on your last name, and you grabbed your packet. There was already a crowd even watching that. They had a roped-off area, and there was a big crowd, even just watching people checking in. There were tons of lookalikes. And I'm not talking just Jack Sparrow lookalikes, but Johnny Depp lookalikes. And those guys were getting so much attention. It was unbelievable. And actually, park security even came over to them and told them that as soon as they got inside the park, they weren't allowed to take pictures with anybody anymore.
Well, that certainly makes sense. I mean, I saw pictures of people pouring in online that they were in the bleachers they had set up on Main Street. I understand, I guess, as part of the event, you got to walk down Main Street?
Yeah, that's right. We basically strolled, again, having done it before, we had a little bit of experience, so we were actually one of the first ones to walk down the carpet, and we just sort of took our time and strolled and took pictures as we went. Both of the crowd, some of the crowds, just to be funny, were cheering for us because they knew that we weren't celebrities,
right.
And so we were playing back with them, and we'd stop when we were close to different celebrities and take pictures right next to them and stuff. You were asked not to talk, not to specifically request pictures with celebrities, so we didn't do any of that. But we basically just walked down around the hub, Main Street, around the hub, and into Frontierland where the actual event was.
So once you get to get through all of that madness up and down Main Street and you get to Frontierland, what happened then between that point and the actual movie screening? Yeah,
there was a good, I'd say 2 hours between entering the event and when the movie began. You could do a number of things. There was dinner available if you wanted to do that. Again, having experience from the last event, we didn't mess with dinner. We ate ahead of time, figuring we just want to spend as much time doing all the stuff as we could.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up spending most of our time actually towards the gates where the carpet ended and the party started, just sort of hanging out there and watching as all the different celebrities walked right past us. The other thing you could do, they had 5 or 6 rides open. They had Winnie the Pooh, Indiana Jones, Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder, and of course Pirates. Those were all open for just the people going to the event. But you could tell right away that before the movie, nobody was going on any of the rides. Mm-hmm. They were all there for the carpet in the movie.
Well, definitely, it's a major spectacle going on. What was the atmosphere like, standing there just watching all the celebrities go by?
It was it was kind of funny because on the carpet, all the celebrities they were on. They were stopping and talking to all the interviewers and everything. And as soon as they come through that Frontierland gate, into where we were, they were all just normal folks. All of them, almost uniformly, would pull out their iPhone or pull out their BlackBerry and just start texting and start doing this, start doing that. some of them were really nice and actually stopped and talked to people. Some of them, you know, as soon as they got past to the end of that carpet, they were done. You know, and their job for the evening was over, and off they went to go grab some food in the movie. But it was definitely an expensive event, and there were a lot of people that were there that you could tell were not your normal Disney crowd.
Right.
You know, I heard a lot of people saying that they had never been to Disneyland before, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So, all right, drop a few names for me. Who did you see walk by? Who did you get to talk to?
Well, the biggest one happened actually at the very end of the night. We were walking from basically over the bridge there in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I walked right past the guy, and I said to my wife, I said, "Wasn't that Martin Short?" And she goes, "It couldn't be Martin Short. What would he be doing here?" You know, because the majority of the people that were there were somehow Disney related. You know, whether the Dancing with the Stars cast was there because ABC is owned by Disney. A lot of Disney Channel folks. Not a lot of and a lot of Desperate Housewives. Ava Longoria, we saw Terry Hatcher we ran into like 4 times. Vanessa Hudgens was there constantly. Kirstie Alley, and then a countless number that we would be standing right next to, and I knew that I knew them, but I could not remember their names, so obviously I wasn't going to say any. I think the worst thing you can do to a celebrity is say, "And you are,"
right, exactly.
Yeah. So that was the majority. Now, for the Disney fans, the fun one for me was Tony Baxter. He was walking down the carpet. Nobody was paying him any attention, And of course, I stopped him and talked to him for a minute, and felt funny when he stopped. He goes, Johnny Depp's only like 50 feet behind me. He goes, he should be up here really soon. And, he goes, that's what everybody's here for. And I said, well, you're actually the celebrity to me, but I said, we'll watch for Johnny Depp. So sure enough, the guy that comes past was one of the lookalikes, not the real Johnny Depp. And he actually fooled Tony Baxter, which I thought was funny.
Interesting. All right, so you've got celebrities. You said there was food there, but you didn't really do that. Did you get special gifts for the night?
Yeah, so at the last premiere, we got a bag as we left. We got a bag with embroidered hats, that said, Pirates World Premiere, stuff like that. We got the pirate Mickey ears. We actually got Nintendo DSs. We got a Wii Pirates game. We got a Nintendo DS Pirates game. All huge bag, really cool. Didn't know what was coming. So of course, our hopes were kind of high for after this premiere. I was thinking actually, well, the Nintendo 3DS just came out. Maybe we'll get Nintendo 3DSs. Well, as we're walking out, we get to the table, and sure enough, the only thing that we got was a commemorative pair of 3D glasses. So they ratcheted down that one pretty good.
So more of your money went to charity rather than gifts this time.
Exactly, right. And you know what? That actually makes a little bit of sense this time around, because the tickets to go to the premiere for a guy like me were considerably less this time than they were last time. I thought that might have solely been because the economy and things like that. But afterwards, when my wife and I were talking about it, they definitely knocked some of the benefits down.
Okay, so we've talked about the entire event. What about the movie itself? How was the movie? Obviously, no spoilers. Most of us haven't seen it yet, but how was the movie?
We thought the movie was great. I personally liked it better than the second or third movie. Good. I will say it still kind of stays in the supernatural in that it's not the type of movie that everything that happens in it could happen in real life. Right. There's still some outlandish stuff like that. I'll also say that it has a couple of those scenes in the movie that are how to say it, like ridiculously put together, like the sword fight inside the giant mill wheel. Right. That just there's no way it can happen. There's a couple of those. My wife and I both felt like they left it open again for another one.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely the little humor sparse throughout, but there were also a couple points that my wife and I thought were actually a little on the scary side. But overall, great movie.
Good.
And yeah, they had a fireworks show that started the instant the movie ended, and it wasn't just a handful of fireworks. It was fireworks timed with the music, and it was definitely done the Disney way.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and but overall, it was a really great movie. I'm sure we'll see it again in the theaters.
Excellent, and I understood it was drizzling just a little bit during the movie. Did that affect the night's plans at all?
Yeah, so we're sitting there, and right before the movie started, I thought I felt something, and I said to my wife, that can't be rain. It doesn't rain in Southern California. and it drizzled on and off through the whole thing, and you've never seen Hollywood types put blankets over their heads as fast as they did. They gave blankets to each individual person because it's also pretty chilly last night.
Oh, really?
But they put those blankets up instantly, and no harm, no foul. They kept the movie going through the whole thing.
Excellent. And then after the movie, was there any additional things going on, or was it just time to leave?
No, after the movie, they had some coffee, some ice cream type snacks that nobody was eating because it was 55 degrees or whatever it was. And they did, like I said, they did have all these rides open. So we basically spent an hour and a half after the movie going through Haunted Mansion, Pirates, you name it. And a lot of the rides, people were just staying on. They didn't have to get off and walk back around because there was nobody in these rides. We were the only people in the boat, or one of only a couple people in the stretching room, that sort of thing. And I will mention too that they for the night of the premiere in Pirates of the Caribbean, they changed the Davy Jones projection to the Captain Blackbeard projection that is going to be officially in the parks on May 20th.
Oh, okay. So is that not going to be there now between now and May 20th? Or are they taking it out and then putting it back?
That's as I understand it. As I understand it, they basically flipped the switch for the premiere night,
right?
And then they're going to flip it back, and then on the night the movie actually comes out, they'll flip it back again to Blackbeard. The most of what we heard him say, what we heard him say was the same as what Davy Jones said.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't changed dialogue. It was pretty much the same thing, just delivered by Blackbeard. And also the Davy Jones voice that you would hear as you were getting off the boat or getting ready to get off the boat has also been replaced by Blackbeard.
So he starts and ends the ride just like Davy Jones did, and from what I heard, it'll return to Davy Jones by the end of the year.
Yeah, that could be. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, that would make some sense to me because, Davy Jones, Blackbeard's a real person,
right?
So it was. I was kind of thinking in my head, okay, how does he get to be this guy that's in the waterfall?
Right, yeah.
Davy Jones kind of makes some sense, but
sure.
But hey, movie tie-ins. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So overall, I mean, clearly you went to the last premiere, and now you've gone to this one. I have to imagine you thought it was worth every penny that you paid.
Absolutely. It wasn't. We walked away with a few things that didn't happen this time that happened last time that we were kind of disappointed with. But overall, still a great event and still worth it. And I would suggest to anybody, if there are any more Pirates movies and they offer something like this, I would say it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but for us, we're lucky it's twice a lifetime. But I would suggest if anybody can swing it, it's definitely worth it.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to share your event with us and have fun on your trip to Southern California.
Thanks, Ricky. I appreciate it. And I've been listening since the first show, so it's nice to be able to contribute.
Great. Thanks very much. And thanks again to Tony for joining us here on the show. Sounds like he had a really great time at last night's Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides premiere. at Disneyland. It's always such a huge event. You're setting up the giant screen in the Rivers of America, and the seating and even a little bit of rain couldn't hurt that event. After I spoke with Tony, his wife, Stacy, actually messaged me and let me know that there were a couple of more tidbits that he wanted to mention that he forgot to include during our conversation. One, during the new movie On Stranger Tides, or in the new movie, very little of the old cast of the previous Pirates films returned. He said, for example, the only crew member that was returning was Gibbs, so you won't see a lot of those old cast members. In addition, he wanted to let everybody know that there's not an overwhelming amount of computer graphics in this new film like the Davy Jones crew was in the last couple of films, that everybody the new film relies more on the story than the effects, which I think is a good thing. Also, and this is an important note that I meant to ask him about, of course, this is the first Pirates of the Caribbean film that was shot in 3D, being displayed in 3D. They saw it at the premiere in 3D, and guess what? No surprise here. They thought it didn't need to be in 3D, that you don't really need to see it in 3D, and I'm really not surprised about that. It seems most movies in 3D are really not needing to be in 3D. The only ones I've seen so far that I really enjoyed the 3D aspect were Avatar and Tron Legacy. Everything else I've just thought, it doesn't really need to be in 3D, and it sounds like Pirates is no exception here. But thanks again to Tony, as well as to his wife Stacy, and I'm going to post some pictures that they took once they get back from their trip and post them over at InsideTheMagic.net. So if you want to see pictures from this whole Pirates of the Caribbean On Stranger Tides premiere, head over to InsideTheMagic.net very soon to check those out.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Ricky, this is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Inside the Magic listener feedback.
So let's jump into a little bit of listener feedback here near the end of the show. As I said earlier, at the very tail end of the show, just like last week, I'm going to play the full performance from the new English channel band from the UK at Epcot, so you can stay tuned for that after this section. But for now, let's get to some emails. First up, an email from Michael following up on, I think it was last week, where he says Maggie mentioned a hidden Stitch on Buzz Lightyear. Well, he wanted to add there are 2 hidden Jack Skellingtons in the Haunted Mansion, one on the spine of a book in the table in the library, and another in the attic immediately to the right as you enter under a table, as well as a hidden Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas at the end of the attic in the back on the right. And he said there's also other interesting hidden characters other than hidden Mickeys. There's a Donald, of course, in Indiana Jones section of the Great Movie Ride, Mr. Toad's in the Pet Cemetery of the Haunted Mansion, as well as in the photo with Owl in the Winnie the Pooh ride that took over for all of that. So thanks very much, Michael, for adding those extra non-hidden Mickey characters, other hidden characters throughout it. You know, I knew about the Jack Skellington in the book in the Haunted Mansion, but I was not even aware of the other ones, and definitely not aware of the Sally. So I will have to check those out definitely next time I'm in there, which I'm sure won't be a very long time from now. Next is an email from Keith, who writes, I've listened to your show for about 5 years now religiously, and I have a couple of questions. Let me start by saying I'm in the Navy and going to be deployed soon, getting back from deployment in November. I'm planning to run the Walt Disney World Marathon on January 8th, and was wondering if you know any rental houses that do military discounts. Looking for about 6 people to be coming with me. I prefer to stay on property, as I've done in the past 25 or so. I lost count trips to Walt Disney World, but this time I'm going to have my mom and dad with me. Can't afford to put them all into hotel rooms, so I'm looking for a house. Sorry, just skimming along here. He also says, I really enjoy watching your new style shows on YouTube. So I don't know if you're out there watching right now. I just looked down at the chat room as if you can see me down there. I should be looking at the camera. But anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed the shows there. So Keith, again, I don't know if you're out there listening right now at the moment, but hopefully you're listening at on the podcast later, if not live on YouTube right now. And unfortunately, I do not know off the top of my head of a military discount house anywhere. But if anyone out there does know of a vacation home in the Orlando area that Keith could take advantage of a military discount, send me an email and I'll be happy to pass the information along to him. And, of course, anyone else out there who's in the military would benefit from that information as well. Next up, here's an interesting email from Mike from Virginia who writes, I wanted to let you and the listeners know that the official Disney Mobile Magic app for Verizon phones is now available on Android phones as well on Verizon. Unless I missed it during your show, this was never announced. For the last year, we've been using the old app on my wife's non-smartphone. While it was accurate and very useful, it was not easy to navigate and you had to keep rebuying it every 6 months. Well, the new one, the menu and layout are different, and it looks like $1.99 is all you pay for life. It's awesome on my Droid, and just wanted to let you know in case you have time to mention it for your listeners. Sorry to iPhone users, but it's a nice perk having once in a while in the Verizon Android family. Well, Mike, that is very, very interesting. If it is indeed just $1.99 for life for that application, that is definitely considerably better than the price before from having to pay every 6 months for the other Mobile Magic app. I did use the old Mobile Magic app that you were talking about, and you're right, it was a bit clunky to use, but the information was great, so I would imagine having the touchscreen on a Droid would be even better. Next up, an email from David from Palm Beach, right here in Florida, who writes, I've been enjoying your podcast in my cube at work as it briefly drowns out the noisy neighbors. Living in Florida certainly has the added benefit of enjoying all the tourist attractions and theme parks, but I am in no way suggesting that more people should move to the Sunshine State. I was at Universal for Mardi Gras to see Lifehouse and somewhat surprised by the light crowds that weekend. I considered getting an express pass, but most of the wait times were less than 10 minutes, which leads me to my question. As I was bypassing most of the queue line for Ripsaw Falls, I remember thinking to myself, thank God I'm not weaving through that mess of ropes, which in turn had me thinking about the lines at other attractions and other parks, which I've had the pleasure of waiting in. Are there any statistics as to what attractions have the longest queue when fully extended? For some reason, Splash Mountain comes to mind. On a side note, the Haunted Mansion's interactive queue, yuck. Well, David, I don't agree with you about the interactive queue at the Haunted Mansion. I particularly like it. But that aside, I'm not sure about the actual longest length of a queue. Splash Mountain certainly is a very long one when you consider winding back and forth outside, going upstairs, winding inside, going through other stairs, winding through a cave. It certainly seems very, very long. But, you know, I'm not sure if there's an actual statistic. If anyone knows what is the longest queue, maybe if you wore a pedometer while walking through a queue, Space Mountain certainly could be a very long one, but I'm not sure if that's longer than twisting and turning your way through Splash Mountain. I don't know. I have to think about that. Somebody online has probably measured it and thought about it. I don't know. Send me an email if anybody knows for sure. Thanks very much, David, for that email. And one more email is from Aaron, who writes, here's some Disney news from Seattle. And I guess I should have included this in the news section, but we're in listener feedback. Anyway, Aaron continues, in the Seattle International Film Festival, the SIFF, there are 2 Disney films with U.S. premieres. There's going to be the Toy Story short Hawaiian Vacation will be shown first, along with clips from Cars 2, and a member of the Pixar production team will be in attendance for a Q&A. The second premiere is the new Winnie the Pooh movie. It could not be officially listed as the U.S. premiere, but it will be shown in Seattle before the official premiere in Los Angeles. Please help spread the word to Disney fans in the Northwest. It looks like SIFF.net, SIF.net is the place to go for more information about these Seattle premieres. So, Aaron, thanks very much for that information. Certainly good to know about all of that. And that is it about listener feedback. I know I had some people in the live YouTube chat here wanting to submit some Q&A to include here in the listener feedback. And for me, it's just a little bit difficult to record the podcast and do the Q&A at the moment with the chat. So what I'm going to do is not include it here on the recording of the podcast, but we'll do some Q&A while I prepare the show and get it uploaded and all of that. So anyone listening now after the fact to the podcast later, you'll want to tune in for future live YouTube shows, because then we'll have a chance for some, maybe, I guess, post-show, if you want to call it Q&A, and that's what we will do this week. So, with that said, that's it for your listener feedback this week. And that almost wraps up this week's episode of Inside the Magic, show 318. As I just said a few minutes ago, we're going to be including the full audio of one set, a few songs, several songs actually, from the new band, The English Channel, in the UK at Epcot here at the tail end of the show. So if you want to hear what they sound like with all of their, I guess, more high-energy rockin' sound than the British invasion ever had, stay tuned and listen to them. You can also watch the video over on our YouTube channel as well, and on InsideTheMagic.net. Before we get to that, I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. And be sure to visit lanyardlab.com to see all of the different styles and custom lanyard options that we have available. You can request a price quote and receive a free digital preview of your lanyard design. So check it out. Again, that's at lanyardlab.com. Also, I encourage you to visit InsideTheMagic.net as your source for Disney and theme park news. You'll find each week's podcast show notes, as well as plenty of things between episodes of the podcast. Certainly follow us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Of course, that's where I posted the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean video game contest that I have going on right now. That's where I found, you would have found out about it first rather than waiting for this show. So one of many reasons to follow us there. In addition, plenty of videos and news and articles and so much more, all over at InsideTheMagic.net. So thanks to all of you for listening each and every week, and to everybody who has tuned in on our live YouTube broadcast. Again, we're going to try to do that right around 2 p.m. on Sundays, whenever I have the time and whenever it works out in the schedule. So as much as possible. So have a magical week. Stay tuned for the English Channel from the UK at Epcot. And bye.
It becomes a reality. It's a dream come true for you.